Lesson 186. Salvation of the world depends on me. So I remember reading this lesson for the first time 5 years ago and thinking, uh-oh, salvation of the world depends on me, right? Like, sorry to let you guys down. So here is a statement that will one day take all arrogance away from every mind. Here is the thought of true humility, which holds no function as your own, but that which has been given you. It offers your acceptance as a part assigned to you without insisting on another role. It does not judge your proper role, but it acknowledges the will of God is done on earth as well as heaven. It unites all wills on earth in heaven's plan to save the world, restoring it to heaven's peace. So it's not like you woke up and was like, salvation of the world depends on me, bro. Like, you're not just coming to this on your own, like as your idea. No, this is actually something that was assigned to you. So it's not arrogant at all to think this way, even though, like Tina, Jesus will tell you in a minute, your ego will certainly be like, what gives? Like, why would you think that you could help the world? Like, why do you, like, it'll think that it'll say that that's very arrogant of you to think, but actually it's very humble to just accept your assigned role, your part of salvation. Salvation of the world depends on me. Let us not fight our function. We did not establish it. It is not our idea. The means are given us by which it will be perfectly accomplished. All that we are asked to do is to accept our part in genuine humility and not deny with self-deceiving arrogance that we are worthy. What is given us to do, we have the strength to do. Our minds are suited perfectly to take the part assigned to us by one who knows us well. So today's idea can seem quite sobering until you see its meaning. All it says is that your Father still remembers you and offers you the perfect trust he holds in you who are his son. So it does not ask you to be any different than what you are. What could humility request but this? And what could arrogance deny but this? So today we will not shrink from our assignment on the specious grounds that modesty is outraged. It is pride that would deny the call for God himself. So just accept your assignment, and that's that. Jesus, for lesson 186, said, trust that you are being guided towards your assignment. Salvation of the world depends on you. Well, your ego will say your perception is arrogant, but you need to trust that you have been given passion at a very deep part of your heart, at your very core. You have been given passion, and you will follow the arrows and the guidance towards what you are meant to do. So follow your overwhelming urges to create, to study, to help. This could look like many different things in your life, but follow your overwhelming urges, what is deep in your heart, and trust that you are being guided by your own guides and teachers to your sacred purpose, to love. So in your life, you have these creative things that you want to do or that you can't walk away from, like A Course in Miracles, right? You could try to walk away for a little bit, but it pulls you back. You want to do it. You might want to read some text. You might want to help somebody out. You might be inspired to be creative, like these things that are like deep in us. Follow that guidance. So all false humility we lay aside today, that we may listen to God's voice reveal to us what he would have us do. We do not doubt our adequacy for the function he will offer us. We will be certain only he knows our strengths, our wisdom, and our holiness. And if he deems us worthy, so we are. It is but arrogance that judges otherwise. There is one way, the only way, to be released from imprisonment your plan to prove the false is true has brought to you. Accept the plan you did not make instead. Judge not your value to it. So we can try to devise what we think we should do, but really, how about we follow guidance? Because that's going to work out. That's going to work out for you and everyone and the world. If God's voice assures you that salvation needs your part, are you really going to argue? And that the whole depends on you, be sure that it is so. The arrogant must cling to words, afraid to go beyond them to experience which might affront their stance. Yet are the humble free to hear the voice which tells them what they are and what to do. So where's your level of arrogance today? Arrogance makes an image of yourself that is not real. It is this image which quails and retreats in terror as the voice for God assures you that you have the strength. You have the wisdom and you have the holiness to go beyond all images. You are not weak, as is the image of yourself. You are not ignorant and helpless. Sin cannot tarnish the truth in you, and misery can come not near the holy home of God. So if you have a bad image of yourself, or you don't think that you're capable or strong enough or worthy enough, God says different. All this, the voice for God relates to you. And as he speaks, the image trembles and seeks to attack the threat it does not know, sensing its basis crumble. Let it go. Salvation of the world depends on you and not upon this little pile of dust. What can it tell the Holy Son of God? Why need he be concerned with it at all? And so we find our peace. So listening to the voice of God, stepping up and fulfilling your function, letting go of all the small concepts of yourself and being who you truly are. In that, you find peace. Pathwaysoflight.org. Welcome to the reading, A Course in Miracles Workbook Lesson 186, Insights. Salvation of the world depends on me. A sentence that stands out to me is, yet are the humble free to hear the voice which tells them what they are and what to do. You are not weak, as is the image of yourself. You are not ignorant and helpless. If I feel I am ignorant and helpless or weak, I am playing dumb. It is really arrogance to try to change what I really am. My true self will guide me out of belief in weakness and limitation if I am willing to receive the help. That is my job today, to be willing to receive the help. As I open to the help of the Holy Spirit, I am led to receive God's gifts, which are peace, love, and joy. If I am anxious or sad or disgruntled, I am refusing to receive God's gifts. I would now let my mind quiet all of the ego's chatter and open up my mind to the Holy Spirit. I would rest in the peace that is there. I would receive the Holy Spirit's thoughts, which encourage me to lay ego thoughts down. The light of God is all I am in truth. The light of God is what everyone is in truth. Am I willing to see the truth today? I will be able to tell by how much peace and happiness I feel. Forgiveness is my function here. Through forgiveness, I am the salvation of the world. I cannot know freedom until every thought of unforgiveness has been cleared from my mind. Unforgiveness turns me into a jailer, and the jailer is always bound to the prisoner. Without the jailer, the prisoner is free, and without the prisoner, the jailer is free. As I let go of condemnation, of refusal to accept God's gifts to me, I am released. I am free to be myself as I was created. Salvation could be defined as release from bondage. The world's release from bondage depends upon my releasing it. It is only my mistaken belief and made-up images of isolation and independence from my source that holds the world in isolation and makes it a substitute for the eternal and all-encompassing love of God. Salvation is not about blame. It is about the recognition of where the source of bondage is, and hence is the source of release. The limited images of the world are only in my mind, and it can only be released in my mind. The experiences I have had in which I completely forgave a perceived wrong brought me profound peace. I breathed a deep sigh of relief. I felt lighter, happier. Love grew stronger in my heart. All this came from a change in my mind. Nothing external changed except my perception of it. This is why salvation of the world depends on me. The ego would like to characterize this as a burden, but this statement brings me the recognition of the power of my mind to be healed and to heal. It is a declaration of independence from the ego and a recognition that my complete freedom lies in my total dependence on my unity with my Creator. The Holy Spirit celebrates with us each time we take another step toward freedom through forgiveness. I think that the most important lines in this lesson are the last ones. Salvation of the world depends on who can forgive. I think that if I remember what forgiveness really means as opposed to the world's definition, I choose forgiveness at each opportunity. I wouldn't need anything else, not even the course. The thing is, my resistance to forgiveness is strong. It is too late for me to pretend I don't know what forgiveness is and what it is called for. So I complicate the simple and tell myself I can't figure out what's going on. I did this when I read the first line of this lesson. My first thought was, oh, poor world if it is depending on me to save it. I thought about all the little things I can't seem to do, all the mistakes I seem to make. Obviously, Jesus expects that reaction because he goes on to encourage us and to answer those fears and objections. Still, as I read, I kept thinking how impossible it all seems. How do I do this or that? What about all these other things? When I got to the last lines, it was like a cool summer shower washing away the cobwebs of confusion. So simple. I already know how to do this. I am just committing to giving this action priority in my life. I am accepting that it is indeed possible for me to forgive in every instance. Not only possible, but the reason I am here, my purpose. Not only that, It is a purpose I am assured of completing because it is a purpose God has blessed. pathwaysoflight.org. I think I sort of messed up that one part. The last line, salvation of the world depends on you who can forgive. I think I read it depends on who you can forgive, which is actually very true. Like who's standing in the way of the salvation of the world? Who's that one person that you still need to forgive, right? So anyways, and so we find our peace. We will accept the function God has given us, for all illusions rest upon the weird belief that we can make another for ourselves. Our self-made roles are shifting, and they seem to change from mourner to ecstatic bliss of love and loving. We can laugh or weep. We can greet the day with welcome or with tears. Our very being seems to change as we experience 1,000 shifts in mood, and our emotions raise us high indeed, or dash us to the ground in hopelessness. Is this the Son of God? Could he create such instability and call it Son? He who is changeless shares his attributes with his creation. All the images his Son appears to make have no effect on what he is. They blow across his mind like wind-swept leaves that form a patterning an instant, break apart to group again, and scamper off, or like mirages seen above a desert rising from the dust. These unsubstantial images will go and leave your mind unclouded and serene when you accept the function given you. The images you make give rise to but conflicting goals, impermanent and vague, uncertain and ambiguous. Who could be constant in his efforts or direct his energies and concentrated drive toward goals like these? The functions which the world esteems are so uncertain that they change 10 times an hour at their most secure. What hope of gain can rest on goals like this? So did you get any of that? Like we're fickle little effers, you know what I mean? And our minds are here, there, everywhere, so unstable. That is not your true self. Your true self is stable. Your true self is changeless. Your true self is certain. In loving contrast, certain as the sun's return each morning to dispel the night, your truly given function stands out clear and wholly unambiguous. There is no doubt of its validity. It comes from one who knows no error, and his voice is certain of its messages. They will not change nor be in conflict. All of them point to one goal, and one you can obtain. Your plan may be impossible, but God's can never fail because he is its source. So do as God's voice directs. And if it asks a thing of you which seems impossible, remember who it is that asks and who would make denial. Then consider this, which is more likely to be right? Okay, so God is the one who's asking, and you're the one who's saying, I don't know if I can do it. I'm going to put my money on God. So let's go with that. The voice that speaks for the creator of all things, who knows all things exactly as they are. Are you going to put your money on that? Or a distorted image of yourself, confused, bewildered, inconsistent, and unsure of everything? Let not its voice direct you. Hear instead a certain voice which tells you of a function given you by your Creator who remembers you and urges that you now remember Him. His gentle voice is calling from the known to the unknowing. He would comfort you, although he knows no sorrow. He would make a restitution, though he is complete, a gift to you, although he knows that you have everything already. He has thoughts which answer every need his son perceives, although he sees them not. For love must give, and what is given in his name takes on the form most useful in a world of form. So this is A Course in Miracles, you guys. And if you can sit with it, maybe for 5 years, it finally starts to sink in. So we're in a world of form, but yet the formless is helping us. These are the forms which never can deceive, because they come from formlessness itself. Forgiveness is an earthly form of love, which as it is in heaven has no form. Yet what is needed here is given here as it is needed. So when we're in heaven, we don't need forgiveness. But down here, oh yeah, we do. In this form, you can fulfill your function even here, although what love will mean to you when formlessness has been restored to you is greater still. Sometimes that part makes me cry. Salvation of the world depends on who, there I'm doing it again. Salvation of the world depends on you who can forgive. Such is your function here. I mean, it's kind of funny because I keep saying salvation of the world depends on who you can forgive. Like I'm dyslexic flipping those two words, but it's very telling, because who can you forgive? Who do you still need to forgive? But what it actually says is salvation of the world depends on you who can forgive. You're capable and you can do it. You can forgive. It's your function here. It's your purpose here. It's how you're going to save the world here. Someday we won't need to do it, because someday we won't be in these forms. We will return to our formlessness in heaven. That's pretty wild. And it does kind of tear me up a little bit. I mean, I literally, it's like part of me, like, here's the song to go home. And then also at the same time, my ego freaks out, like not thinking that it's going to be in this form anymore. So anyways, that's the lesson 186. Salvation of the world depends on you who can forgive. Salvation of the world depends on me. So essentially, it's pretty simple. You need to follow your purpose. You need to listen to God, and you need to forgive. And that's all you have to do today. That's it.